NemeSeptember Day 3, and we are delving back into... Oh, hello. We're delving back into the cat playlist, apparently. We are delving back into RID 2015 of a sort. Though this is actually the Takara Transformers Adventure version of that in Nemesis Prime colors, because of course, as we are now 3 videos into NemeSeptember. And this is... it's basically RID Warrior Optimus Prime, but in Nemesis colors. But this is pretty cool. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is this nonsense up here, but who is? Not many. I'm sure there are some people who are, but I am not one of them. But yeah, this guy is pretty neat. It's an interesting design. I like how it's one of the few, if not maybe the only, definitely one of the few at least, Optimus Prime designs where the trailer is part of the robot mode. That's really cool. Also, this version just has some really nice paint. Like, the black is really nice, the glossy black plastic, but then you've got this nice metallic bluish color going up along the sides and the base, and like little stripy details. All of the rims are painted in silver, which looks really nice. And then you've got some more this like metallic-y blue for the lights in the front and the little truck eyebrows up there. You of course have the red windows, nice silver for the grille and bumper section, and even like the smokestacks are painted in silver. So lots of nice paint on this guy. Nothing around the back, though the taillights are molded, but I think that's understandable. Of course, the thing is, if you look at him from the top or below, it's like, oh hey, there's a robot, especially up here, it's just legs. But it's okay. And I think this guy, as with most Nemesis repaints of Optimus Prime, he has the benefit of, since he is mostly black, you don't have blue and then red. So because this is all black, it makes everything look a little bit more cohesive and helps these legs to blend in, not successfully, but they blend in better than they blend in on the regular Optimus Prime colors version of this. And it's a really interesting truck design too. I'm gonna boop you. Boop. It's an interesting truck design. I really think it's cool how he's like the long nose cab, but it's like very angular and almost harsh looking. And really, like, this is, as far as I understand it, aside from the head, I don't know if the head's been remolded or not, but like the actual figure, I don't think has been remolded at all from the RID Warrior version of Prime. But like, this is an angry looking truck. There are so many harsh angles and like this point that comes down the front here that it just works really well as a Nemesis. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I don't really know what else I can say about this. So let's, I guess, try and move on to size comparisons. We'll see what happens. I mean, in case anyone's curious, here's how big Transformers Adventures Nemesis Prime is compared to House Cat. And she is grown up at this point. She actually turned 7 yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was their birthdays. So Astrid and Finley are now 7 years old. Practically old enough to get married. Okay. Nemesis over there. And there is Artfire. And Rotor Storm. And Overprime. Astrid, do not. Do not. And Samus. And I forgot to transform Burnout back into her vehicle mode after the last video, so I'm going to do that real quick. Pardon the cut. I'm aware that pardon the cut is a strange thing for me to say, given how much I would cut in my old videos, but I don't do that so much anymore because I just don't have time for all that editing. But anyway, here is Warrior Nemesis Prime with Burnout. All right, now let's get all these out of the way, and Yeah, thinking about it, I don't think I'm going to do any other warrior class RID warrior represent or warrior. Why can't I talk? I'm not going to do any more RID warrior comparisons right now because I don't really have anything that really fits with a tractor trailer because, you know, we've got robot scorpion, motorcycle, and tractor. I just don't think those really work out. But what I do have is duck tank. All right, transformation time. So you may have noticed this thing sticking out of the top. This is the axe that comes with both Nemesis Prime and Prime. And again, I feel like this works so much better for a Nemesis than Prime because this is a pretty vicious looking axe. I'm imagining this is like meant to sort of homage the well, I mean, he's got the Energon axe in the G1 cartoon, but this also kind of gives like the War for Cybertron axe vibes. But we'll look at this more when we get to the robot mode proper. And to get to the robot mode proper, well, it's the same transformation as the Warrior Optimus Prime, but for anyone who's not familiar with that, you want to grab these panels here and pop those out. Those swing around and plug in down here, like so, and pop it. There we go. Like so. And I like how the smokestack actually comes with everything. So that swings down, and this is cool too. I like how when you bring this down, it fills in the rest of the leg. That's just really cool. You can separate the legs, but I prefer to slide them apart rather than pull because it just feels scary to try and pull. So slide the legs apart, and now everything will rotate around, and there is the entirety of the lower body done. As for the rest of it, it's very simple. You just split the front and bring this all the way down. And rotate these down, and now the fists are plugged in up here. So you just unplug the fists from that peg, rotate them around, and then rotate this section down to give him shoulder pads. And same deal here, like so. And there you have all of that. I do wish that I could do the mod on this thing. So there's a way to modify this so that these panels swing back and just kind of clean up the forearm a bit more. I tried, but I could not pop this wheel off, and that's essential to doing the mod. And I was just too scared to try pushing it anymore because it was not coming off, and I didn't want to try and force it and potentially break this thing. So for now, at least, he's not modded. But last thing to do is take the head and pull it up until it doesn't click into place, but it tabs very securely. Like that's not falling back down anytime soon. And there we have Transformers Adventure Nemesis Prime. And this is a cool looking Nemesis. I think like you get a little bit more control over these. Like you can have them more parallel, or you can push them down like that. I kind of like the angles that you get from pushing them down like that. But yeah, it's a cool design. It's a cool design for Prime, but I think as a Nemesis, again, like in truck mode, this just looks so angry and angular that I think it works better for Nemesis rather than Optimus. And the mold does have its drawbacks, but I do think this is cool. And the coloring is great. There's a lot of similar stuff to the vehicle mode, except now there's what's going on in the midsection, which this is really cool torso. And you can see like the legs that we saw in vehicle mode, same exact thing, but the detailing is nice. I like they painted these in so like they look like hip skirts. They're not actually, they're just molded parts of the thighs, but it's a nice detail. And that midsection looks fantastic. I love the layered look that they've got going on here. It's still vaguely reminiscent of Optimus Prime, but it almost looks like a powered up version. And you've got, rather than two chest windows, you've got just a big old windshield going across. So that's really cool. Now, there's not a lot of detail in the forearms, but they did paint the fists, which I think is really nice. And the truck cab sections becoming the shoulders. It looks cool. They even painted a little bit of red up here, and that is ordinarily, I believe that is where the these bits clip in, or part of where they clip in vehicle modes. So, oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Those are the side windows. But it's cool that they painted those, regardless. Maybe they do. I don't know. The point is, it's a cool design. It looks really good in these colors. I'm very into it. And the head, and this is where I was saying, like, I'm not sure if this is a remold or if this is what the regular RID Warrior Optimus Prime's head looks like. Very cool, though. I like the angles. I like that it's still Optimus Prime, but it kind of tapers in a little bit, makes him look a little bit more vicious. And also, these ear bits poking backwards just add a little bit more spikiness to the head, which I think works really well for a Nemesis. And of course, you've got the silver for the faceplate and the little head crest and the nice red eyes. I also appreciate that they went with the faceplate and not a non-faceplated head. Now, for articulation, the head, as you saw, is on a swivel, so it can rotate left and right, but it can only go so far until it kind of whacks into what's going on here, which is fine. I think that's plenty of look. You don't really need him looking 90 degrees. Can't look up or down, but if you untransform the head, you can kind of get him looking up a bit, but the more you go, the more weird it looks. The arms, as you saw, rotate, so they can rotate around 360. They can go out on the transformation hinge, but it's a little bit tricky to do. So you kind of need to get the shoulder pads out of the way of this piece. None of that was on camera. You need to get the shoulder pads out of the way of this piece in order to bring the arm up, and even then it can only go up this high. So you can see when it's down like this and you try to bring it up, it kind of locks there. So you gotta be mindful of that, which isn't the worst, but it is kind of unfortunate. The elbows are ball joints, which means they can work as bicep swivels and also bend, and they can bend to what mostly counts as 90, but you've got an entire truck on his fist, so that kind of stinks. Again, I wish I could have modified this, but oh well. I will say, it does work better on the Nemesis than Optimus, purely because these panels from this angle are black while the forearms are black, so it doesn't stand out as much. There's still very much, truck chunks on his forearms, but it just doesn't stand out as a bunch of messy truck kibble on his arms with this color scheme. Now, for the transformation, you have a waist swivel, though it's kind of, if you go too far, it starts to look weird because it swivels towards the back. So, it looks fine when you start getting to extreme poses, but if you get too extreme, it does break the sculpt significantly. The hips can go forward a little bit past 90 and back not quite to 90 because of this plate here. That plate cannot move. That is there. That's not going anywhere. So yeah, it goes back that far. Can go out to 90. You get a thigh rotation. You get 90 degrees of knee bend, and that's it. You don't get anything at the feet. So articulation's pretty simple, but he is it's a RID warrior class figure. And the axe you can just peg into his hand and make him look all scary. And again, I think this suits Nemesis a lot better than Prime. So there is that. Now, let's see how he stacks up to the usual suspects. So here is Burnout and Rotor Storm and Heartfire and Ova Prime and Samus. So yeah, he's an RID warrior class figure. He's a little bit taller than Burnout. plastic feels a little bit more dense, but like the engineering's also a lot simpler, really. It's still a clever transformation, but he is a much simpler figure than Burnout. And a lot of modern deluxes, really. Which, I mean, I don't want to look it up because I feel like it'll make me sad, but RID... Oh, wait, what am I saying? RID 2015. It was in 2015, you dingus. So yeah, that's what, 7, 8 years ago? Jeez. So it stands to reason that the engineering and also production focus would change over time. But anyway, here he is with the duck tank. And that'll do it for Transformers Adventure, whatever, Nemesis Prime. And it's a very simple figure. Has a couple of interesting transformation tricks, particularly the shoulders and the way the legs kind of slim up to become the truck trailer. I do think it's cool how the cab plus trailer becomes the robot. And like the colors are fantastic, and like this design just it works really well for Nemesis Prime. It definitely would have been nice if the figure was maybe a little bit more complex. Maybe had slightly better shoulders, didn't have this junk on the forearms. You know, maybe had a little bit more going on. But it's a neat design. The colors are great, as I said, and it works so well for Nemesis Prime. So that'll do it for that fellow. And I forgot to do the thing again. Jeez, what is wrong with me today? I guess I'll do it now. So if you like this video or any of the other videos that I've done and you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon that is linked in the description and also on the end card. And that is, I just have a single $1 tier, but that $1 gets you early access to new videos in addition to supporting the channel. If you'd rather support the channel without paying me any money, which I completely understand because, you know, these days money is kind of a thing, more than it used to be. But if you want to support the channel without using money, there's the typical YouTube stuff of like, comment, subscribe, that kind of thing. Or there is a different link in the description for a Discord server for Show Z, which is an overseas site that I've made a lot of purchases for over the years that do a lot of third-party masterpiece and knockoff type stuff. Great customer service, wonderful place, and if you join their Discord server using the link in the description, it gets me a little bit of store credit that I can put towards future figure purchases. So with all that out of the way, thank you everybody for watching. That has been Transformers Adventure Nemesis Prime, and tomorrow, next video, not necessarily tomorrow, going to be looking at a Nemesis Prime figure that I've actually had for a while and just have not gotten around to make a video on. So we're finally going to be looking at this guy.